Hey fellas, now we come to my last DC and Snyder review of my current direction, and there'll be more coming in 2020 onward, but for now, let's look at the 2009 incarnation of Watchmen, and which shows Snyder directed the acclaimed graphic novel, and 10 years since release. I will admit, I was initially unsure what to make of the movie when I first saw it. In fact, I actually consider one of the movies where I did not really understand on the first viewing. Even as someone who has admitted they're a huge fan of the original book. Look, I mean, and even factoring in how there are multiple other I actually, looking back, surprised how much they're able to fit into who the who the film's initial 2 hour and 42-minute runtime. And for what it's worth, a decade before the HBO series took the Elseworlds approach that was set in the single universe, but also took place after the events and in 1985 in this film, which shows 8 years passing since the enactment of the Keene Act, as well as where Nixon and not only never resigned, but also they got rid of the term limits, which led him to having been elected an unthinkable 5 terms. And I know what people are going to say, so I will address it. I personally didn't think the portrayal was that bad of Tricky Dick in this one, though I do admit at times it kind of reminded me of the one in Futurama. Do I really sound like that? I thought it was more Clark Gable quality. I mean, at the time, this movie was kind of a big deal given how long it had been in development, allegedly, and this was also after Moore, who had become so incensed by how they handled, or how poorly they handled the previous adaptations, where by that point, he went uncredited, and subsequent adaptation had what the proceeds he would have made donated to charity. There's something I have to admire about him when it practices integrity or marketability that much. And he doesn't seem like the kind of person who'd be willing to have his work made into something you would find on a lunchbox or on an action figure or at all. Oh, and I gotta say that, like a lot of directors, Zach was one who had a background in music videos before transitioning to film, and that's definitely evident with how he manages to get a lot of detail in Liquid Scenes Alone, where the comedian has a hit put on him, and boys thrown from the window of his apartment, and it sets up the alternate timeline, which goes back decades, all to an extended version of Bob Dylan's "The Times They Are a Changing." That's definitely one of the most impactful openings I've seen in any film in this genre. Looking back on it, and I think looking back, I wasn't initially ready for it. It took a lot of repeat viewings. At least it didn't start making sense to me why they decided to do a film like this until at least the second viewing, and it didn't start. I didn't actually really enjoying it until, because I think my initial look at this that I made when I was still doing stuff actively on RT before the movie was with Flickster, I think I may have let my emotions write that first review, which is something I, in hindsight, if I had known what I do now, if I had the same experience talking about this I did before, I probably would not have said some things I did. And it just shows how much things can change over time. That shows how things can change, and there are a lot of good things. There are a lot of things I do enjoy about this movie, like how some of the costume designs are actually quite good. I mean, how to look up who did it. And I can definitely tell that they tried to make some of the designs work on film. Like, I think the most accurate one seemed to be a Rorschach shapeshifting mask, as well as as Dr. Manhattan's blue package. It definitely earns R rating. Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I mean, they only had to make some changes, or even lampshade in the movie by saying like the blue being too bright for TV, and which point Billy Crudup just turns himself down, and the sequence of his birth and subsequent and change is being set to Philip Glass's Put Equal Prophecies going on Scotsy is a masterwork. That sequence alone still is fantastic. Heck, I mean, and while that's one of the first things I learned that it's not always possible to do a completely faithful version. To me, if you can capture the tone of what made it work, I'm usually alright with it. And I still, looking back, I had to admire the ambition behind the movie, and even with the HBO series putting another take, I still have to watch the last two episodes when it comes out DVD and Blu-ray. I gotta say, there's something I have to admire about that. Definitely, hey, it was before something like Deadpool or Joker or Logan hit it big. That's something I had to admire about it looking back 10 years later. So, I'll see you in a moment. My finale is gonna be up before stroke of midnight, as I promised, all ready to go. Hope you're ready for it. Hmm.